Coast playing some wonderful football as well when they've happened to get possession. I'm really impressed the way that they've got confidence in good players, and regardless if something goes amiss or awry, hang on.
Devere was in the right spot. Sorry, boss, go on.
That's okay. They continue to, and this shows the confidence of good. They continue to play the ball to those particular players. Wellington obviously targeting Matt Simon in a fair way. I mean by that, and making sure that they're aggressive towards him as they realise he's the heartbeat of the side. And Central Coast Mariners having a few problems when Robbie picked out very, very astutely that when Devere drops in, it's like 3 number 10s, just trying to work out who's going to pick who up there, because they like to keep 2 against 1 at the back, so they like the midfielders to come back, but then they're outnumbered, so just watch for that.
Bazanek, the one to usually drop back and will start play for the Mariners with Rolls and Toniek pushing, allowing these 2 fullbacks for Central Coast to push right up. Both of these wingers, Clisby and Negro, and they're playing out. There's Bazanek. And Renya's just dropped into a lovely acre of space, not even a pocket. Here's De Silva. Yanota looking for the run of Clisby, who rises with the header too high.
Good football. Started down the left-hand side, switched it to the right through De Silva. Yanota sees Clisby, and Clisby does well. He gets in front of his defender, Tame, but can't head that downwards. It's the first half chance to the Mariners.
What about the space Renya got into? Just there, he didn't have anyone in a yellow shirt within 5-6 metres of him, so encouraging there for the Mariners, perhaps a little worrisome for the Knicks.
And that was my point exactly. Wonderful bit of play, passage of play from Central Coast Mariners, and really, really good to see how they're playing in their football is actually trying to create time and space for their best players, like the Silvers, like the Yanotas. That was a really, really well constructed piece of play.
Payne could go, but the ball won't stay in for him from Denton. Clisby can find Notter, and there's space down here for the right for the Mariners to go. Negro. De Silva's looped around. A lot asked of him to bring it back. He does. Matt Simon's waiting in the middle. Marinovic sprawling at the ball and did really well to get a palm on it. Back it comes. Here's Matt Simon again. Straight at Marinovic this time. Piscopo can carry it away at a rate of knots. Game livening up. Wynn Stadium.
Well, it was great action from the Mariners down that right-hand side, and I thought the ball to De Silva was overhit, which it was. He's done very well to hang it up to the back post. The second phase of that attack, Simon with a vicious strike.
Marinovic had to be on his game there, because right at the last moment it swerved that ball. We'll cop a replay shortly and maybe get Bozza to run us through it, but that's a beautiful ball out of defence from Negro to Bazanek. Zipped across the turf and sets the Mariners on their way forward again. Unfortunately, Yanota's pass to Simon is off cue.
No, but he's attempted it in the same vein, and that's what you're seeing around the A-League at the moment. One thing I've noticed as we see this, see that ball's too far, but he does so well. Hangs it up. Marinovic, very good decision to come for that and take it away, but then they don't clear it properly and it falls to Simon. He makes it half a yard, and this one's hit with some venom, and he does. He swerves back the other way, so it's a really good save.
Not easy to contend with, Bozza.
No, it's not. We spoke about the start of the show about the swirling nature of this wind. There's no doubt about that. And we've also seen, specifically here as well, you remember the opening game Wellington played here against Sydney FC when Nieuwenhof and Bratton hit those 2 bombs from distance. This ball that they use this season absolutely flies. And I don't know if it flies even more because we're so close to the ocean, but you saw it move all over the place, and that was exceptional goalkeeping. And Robbie's point as well was exactly spot on. That punch was vital.
Renya trying to drop back in again. This time he coughs it up and Wellington can go forward. Piscopo thinking about it. Tried to slide the ball, but it didn't work. adjust. Some good last-ditch defending from the Mariners. Back we go the other way. Simon over the top to Aranya, too much on it.
Good space for Piscopo there. Both Davida and Piscopo posing a problem when they drop in between those lines, and he didn't make that one count, but they were 3-on-3. But one thing I was about to say around the A-League, and one thing I've observed in this opening of the season is the ball speed. The way players are passing the ball, they're not just, they're not underweighted, they're punching the ball, zipping the ball into players, and it's been really good, and it's added to the entertainment in all the games.
Stensness and the Villa, and the big man wins. Here's this shot again from Simon, and when you hit it right, this ball, Oz is dead right. Got one at home. It flies through the air in every direction.
Now what, can you hit it at the same pace?
No, I just watched my son do it. I can't hit it. I'll just observe. Yeah, it's really light, and it's, put it this way, it's better than that one that they had at the World Cup in 2010 to kick. A little ambitious from Jack Clisby. Denton winning the header, but it's down to De Silva.
Mariners certainly enjoying the last 7 or 8 minutes in a really good period.
Beauty of Wynn Stadium as well. The sideline, you're no more than 2 paces from being on the pitch. You can pick up this communication, especially from players like Ollie Bozanic. It's a simple communication to move the ball. The ball do all the work, and they're doing it quite well here, the Mariners. Clisby, one-on-one with Payne. He contends with his opposite number well enough, but gives away a corner.
An obvious target. Matt Simon always a handful on set pieces. Urenya, certainly someone who can sniff a chance.
Short corner in from De Silva, and falling over Matt Simon with Josh Laws.
Well, Simon looked to be goal side, and his Laws just fall on top of him. It's a clever ball in there. He tries to get across him. You see it better from this angle. They're both all over each other.
Well, it is Valentine's Day. It was like Simon, I don't know if he realised that it was going to be a stretch to get there, and the last ditch push through Laws brought everyone down.
Well, I tell you, it's dangerous, that kind of contact from a defender in the box. Because when I look at that again, I don't think, if the referee had given that, I don't think anyone was turning it around.
In front, Matty. Got to get across front. Matty's in front. Matty's in front.
Silva, quick feet to get out of that, and look at that. One quick pass, one quick thought, the pitch is opened up. Here's Stefan Negro, a little chip, leading the head of De Veer.
Well, De Silva looks in superb touch. And how they got out of that tight space, Ufuk Talay was disgusted, turned around to his bench. They got out of this tight space over here and opened it up to the right. And the end of that move didn't really do it justice, the beginning of it.
Clisby touch forward straight away. Simon there supporting, so it's just Renya in the middle. Not as much forward is off, and he gives away the foul. Here it is again.
Close. I'm telling you. If he had given that, the VAR wouldn't have changed it.
that in the rather large book titled Seen Him Given. Willie Davila, 2 for company. Stensness and Negro, and no foul. Daniel Elder's okay with that. Problem for Kurt Ams, the 4th official this afternoon, is that it's very close quarters, the 2 benches down there, so more advice forthcoming. With the sideline officials, Laws just barrels into the back of Urenia and comes off second best. There's a need to be physical sometimes, but did that overstep the mark somewhat, Robbie?
Well, it's certainly a strong challenge. I think Urenia is all eyes on the ball, and it's clearly a foul. Straight into the back.
He's done his ankle. Left ankle for Josh Laws. Mariners will feel that that's the karma bus driving through a puddle and splashing him. So Clisby and De Silva over this free kick. Tonyik's gone up with Matt Simon. Clisby's ball, a lot of air, too much. Marinovic, who had a second grab at it, and Payne. Clayton Lewis is trying to link up down this right-hand side. He hasn't got a lot of company here, Lewis. Oh, he does really well to get the other side of 2 Mariners defenders and then win the free kick. That's quality play from the Kiwi.
Superb play from Lewis, because, I mean, he made a superb run to get into that ball, give them an option.
And they played it quickly, and they nearly got caught out there, the Mariners.
Yeah, ball looks around in frustration, says, get more bodies in there. But how he got out of this was fantastic skill from Lewis. And then he does well, he gets his body in between the ball and the defender and attracts the foul. But then, you know, they just didn't get enough bodies into the box.
Piscopo to take the corner. It's a really good one. Birighitti can only fumble it down. It's there, De Vere, he thought about a trick, rolled it back, they go out wide again. Piscopo, ball over yet again. De Vere rises, and his header skids away.
Hiệp đấu đã bắt đầu, anh em hãy nhanh tay truy cập ngay fb88cup.com để đặt cược kèo chấp tài xỉu tỷ số cho trận đấu này. FB88, nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu hiện nay, nhà tài trợ cho câu lạc bộ Men 05. Nạp tiền rút tiền cực nhanh chỉ trong 5 phút, khuyến mãi đến 2 triệu đồng cho thành viên mới, hỗ trợ cho tất cả thành viên 24/7, kể cả ngày nghỉ và lễ Tết. Hãy truy cập ngay vào link ở thanh chat để được hưởng toàn bộ những sự ưu đãi từ FB88.
This place has got to be a place where it's extremely difficult to get points. The only win came at Central Coast.
Simon there harassing Tim Payne twice. The rolls has kicked it straight into Davila, so it goes back the other way for the next ball. Piscopo. There's another one of those step overs. He falls over.
He's asking a question. Did he get any ball?
Daniel Elder could not be less interested. It's Clayton Lewis. 2 with ball. Too cute there. Lovely touch from De Silva to get out of trouble. Flick it on. Oh, that's an awful one. That is a horrible one, and he's straight off David Ball. Daniel Elder had that out after 2 steps, even before David Ball could get up and look around. Matt Simon has not moved, and David Ball is off for an early shower.
You know, like you said, he's made up his mind straight away. David Ball saying he's going for the ball, and I think he is, but the problem is, it's a lunge. this is the one. Yeah, that's nasty.
Bozza, you were down there. You saw it. What do you think?
Immediate reaction was red. I saw the referee Daniola having no other option. I said that at the start of the game when he came down to me that they were targeting Matty Simon. I think that maybe some of those words have maybe had a different effect on certain players. But my first reaction down here, I'm watching the replay now.
Yeah,
I don't think he's got no choice but to go for a red there because they can really be a serious result in serious injury to the opposition player. Yeah, and I remember the first ball that came over here to see the determination on Luke De Veer's face because they obviously don't want to be intimidated by Matty Simon. They realise how important he is to him, but I think it's just gone a little bit too far there, and I don't think the referee had any other option but to go red.
What doesn't help David Ball's situation, who, if you're watching the first Wellington game you have with David Ball in it, he's not known as a guy who with thuggery or as a reputation, if you know what I mean. He's a touch player. He likes to score goals and create goals. But I think, Robbie, the moment he was in trouble was actually the skip in. The little skip just before contact. Matt Simon gets up. He's okay. The VAR has checked it. They're okay with the decision.
Yeah, look, you look at it, and I feel sorry for David Ball. And on the same note, I'm glad that Matt Simon's okay because it's, put simplistically, it's a striker's challenge. Strikers aren't the greatest tacklers in the world, and he's completely got that wrong. I do believe he was going for the ball, but he just got the technique of tackling terribly wrong.
Tiarafai Hudson Wahongi has come on for Wellington Phoenix. Now, I don't think this is a tactical switch. I think it's just Josh Laws and his ankle where he got physical on Renia before. So Vitale wanted a bit more intensity from his side. Unfortunately, it's come off that it's displayed itself in that particular way. Still talking to Kurt Ams, the fourth official. I do know that Vitale this season has been a bit annoyed at the inconsistencies within games and from game to game with decision-making processes. So I'm not sure he's actually having a go at the officials for that actual red for David Ball, who, by the way, was sticking around in the tunnel, we're told, to make sure that Matt Simon was okay and got up. So,
well, that shows you the character.
Yeah.
And I stick to what I said. It's just a tackle from a striker that's gone horribly wrong. But what it does give is gives the league leaders a massive edge in this game. A long way to go. 11 against 10.
And Clisby's gone down, run into pain. Not sure if the contact was inadvertent or not. Play goes on. Clisby's still on the ground holding his face. And Stensness, Piscopo go at it on that far side. Will the Mariners kick it out? Clisby's up on his feet. So play continues. Stensness. Not a lot of love here at the moment at Wynn Stadium. Negro. Corner to no one really. Payne can actually take a touch and carry it out. So it's Louis Davila up front by himself and then two narrow banks of four for Wellington. That's how they're defending it at the moment before Vitale can maybe make some tweaks at half time. Bozanic, Yanota, and Clisby. Clisby okay from before. He likes to run a bit further away from Payne that time. Bozanic well, and let Piscopo go through. Davila and also Stensness have bumped into each other downfield. It's all happening. So much going off the ball as much as on it at the moment here at Wynn Stadium. Everyone's a bit edgy, Robbie.
Come on.
Well, that'll continue. Obviously, Wellington are going to feel an injustice. It's just the nature of football.
Gary does really well to get the ball before it goes over the byline. Clisby sweeps it away. Payne and De Silva. De Silva keeps his feet. Unfortunately, he lost the ball in the end. Lewis can have a go. And curls it straight into Birigitti's path.
But why not with this wind? And he just didn't get a hold of it, Lewis, but a lot of edginess in those tackles.
Lewis out to McGarry. You would have seen it, Robbie, in your career, especially in English football, the need to win battles and one-on-one duels and at the urgings of the manager. Sometimes, though, it can go a little overboard quickly. We'll go back to that point because Skippo has got to the byline again. He's taking a lot way. In fact, he flicks it back and Stents was there at the top of the box.
Yeah, I think it's Rufer. It's called ball watching there because Stensness was able to just control that ball and turn and play out. Now, I know they're 10 men, but when they're on an attack like that, they've still got to play big compact, and that was a good situation. You needed a midfielder on the edge of the box there for Wellington. And he just got caught ball watching. And the key for the Mariners is to stretch the 10 men. Use the width.
Bozanic looks up, has a shot, and again it's swirling all over the place. Marinovic has punched it higher than the grandstand. That's a big pair of mitts Marinovic has gotten. Thank goodness for the Wellington Phoenix point of view, they are.
It was closed down a little bit late, and Marinovic decides to hit that, and you see how it's swerving and punches it straight back up in the air and gave himself a problem because Simon was coming down after it as well, and Payne was there to sweep up.
Mike Tyson punched it that high, maybe. That's about it. It's good contact. He's going to be busy, you would imagine, for the next hour or so. A man who holds a pilot's license. Falls to Rod Denton, straight over the top to Skippo, who's in here. It's the other side of Clisby, but Toniek recovers so well.
Physical presence and pace. Toniek just looked for a moment. Piscopo might have been away, and I think the bounce didn't do him any favours. When you come down quick enough, there is to slightly hesitate. Toniek eliminates the danger. But this is crucial for Wellington, and the 10 men. You get set pieces and be the way to grab yourself a goal.
Skippo's going to take the corner.
And that's what you don't need.
No.
Poor corner from Piscopo. Beat the first man. But since the red card, Wellington have done okay.
De Silva back at right back to head that back to Stensness, and Bozanic's got an acre of space. To Yanota. Clisby with the overlapping run, and the passes are asking a lot of Clisby, and the Polish attacking midfielder. Good decision there to open up the pitch. Rufer. It's home away from home for Wellington Phoenix. Wollongong Phoenix down here for the season. Made that decision really, really early. Yet to win a game, 2 losses here at Wynn Stadium so far. They're spread across the southern part of Sydney and down in Wollongong as well, the next, and they've got an opportunity here through Lewis, but Rolls is alert. Here the Knicks screaming for handball. And Stefan Negro goes down this right side. De Silva shows too much of it, gets another go. Hudson Mahongi was there. It's over him this time. Payne just going to have to boot it away. Back by Rolls, back by Rod Denton. Here's Stensness. Ball ball movement required to break down.
Yeah, but that's playing into Wellington's hands, going through the middle. That's where they're compact. They'll allow, the 10 men will allow space out wide because they have to.
McGarry within 10. Scapo. Step overs on the way, 3 of them that time. McGarry back to right. Denton. Trying to play the cute stuff at the top of the box now. The Knicks. De Vere with a handful of shirt of Matt Simon. Urania now 1-on-1 with Hudson Mahongi.
Well, the substitute does very well there. And the Mariners are allowing the 10 men to play, and they really shouldn't be. They've got the advantage. They need to squeeze the Mariners.
And you can hear Alan Stajic in some words which we apologise for, encouraging his side.
So you really shouldn't be able to play out from the back like this.
Yeah.
I think Stajic knows that. And this is what we talked about in the pre-game. Sometimes, you know, once you're over the line, the coach, it's out of his hands in some respect. And he wants his team to press, and they're not.
It's a number one lesson for a team playing against 10 men. The team playing against the
team with the 11 men.
Yeah.
Well, is to be patient and make the pitch as big as possible. Use the width. You know, make them run.
Bozanic and De Silva. Urania can find Matt Simon. He does, and that's the opening goal. What a finish from Matt Simon. Off the canvas and onto the score sheet again. Oh, and it's Valentine's Day. Go over them, give them something to remember in that corner. Hope they're Mariners fans.
Well, I don't think they are. I think we're all Wellington fans, are they? Well, Ifitalo will be disappointed with that because that's gone through the middle and that's where they're supposed to be strong. But it's a super finish and a great ball from Urania. It just opens up here and you see Matt Simon.
Oh, we're going to get the protractor out.
It's very, very close. You're going to see it from there. Super pass and a great finish from Matt Simon across the keeper. No chance for Marinovic.
Here we go. We'll be lining it all up.
Oh, he's right on the shoulder. There's no doubt about that. So this will be interesting.
He doesn't know it yet that they're checking. Celebration still going and upheld. So they're happy with it. And the Mariners have got the lead. Like Matt Simon does in terms of the greatest goal scorers for the Mariners. He extends his lead there. And the Shuckers are out for his daughter as well. Those fantastic scenes for his 200th game. Now Tonic has caught Davila. And while we're watching that, Bozzy, your thoughts on the goal, how it all came about?
Well, absolutely fantastic ball by Urania and a wonderful finish from Matt Simon. But I was just going to say, and I know Robbie was saying, and Alan Stachich down here was asking his team to close down, but I could understand what those players on the pitch were doing because Wellington weren't going anywhere and they just needed to regroup a little bit, which they did. And funny enough, when they won the ball back, then they sort of burst into life. But most definitely, when you're playing against 10 men, spread out. That's 100%. You spread the other team out. The second thing is to recognise which player is going to be left with the ball the most and either put your most creative or player on that position or right next to it so he can get the majority of the ball. They've done that quite well thus far with Bozanic pretty much picking up a lot of the ball. The other thing is when a team goes down to 10 men, which Wellington did, they're going to come back at you. They're going to feel as though that they've been wronged, which in this case I believe that they were not because of a blatant sending off. But they just need to be patient now. They're in a really good position.
Lewis will take this free kick. He almost got something on it. Davila, one way, the other, back onto his left. Tonic straight into him. Bozanic's down. Tonic's feeling a bit of pain as well. I'm not sure if he blocked that shot, you know where, but yeah. Rufer. Right, Denton gives a sloppy one away, and here's De Silva. Wasn't exactly full-blooded from David with that. It's a very careful challenge to win the ball back. It's Wellington's second red card of the season, the David Ball one. There's no arguments as opposed to the first one to Alex Rufer against MacArthur. A lot of movement here for Wellington. You feature something if they're allowed to give Rufer or Rye Denton time to pick a pass to one of those attacking midfielders rotating, Robbie.
That was a good situation they didn't make the most of. Soterio is going to be sorely missed.
Especially in a game like this, Robbie, where you're down to 10 and you can bring on with half an hour to go. If you're only 1-0 down, you've got that guy who can just...
Well, that's what we said in the match that was played between these two a couple of weeks ago. Soterio with the winner.
Cam Devlin hoping to be ready for next weekend's game. We were meant to have one midweek, Wellington Phoenix, but it was against Melbourne Victory in Melbourne, so that one got postponed by a week. I hope that Tom Ahmed is back available next week with his hamstring problem, keeping him out of this one, because there'll be no David Ball. A couple of minutes now for the Mariners to maybe double their advantage before half-time. Make life increasingly miserable for Wellington. Stensness. Coughs it up. And Lewis. Side of the boot to Scopo, who, as you can see, doesn't mind being on the ball, Robbie. He's light feet.
It's very good. You want that in the front third.
Denton's given away again. Renya couldn't get his feet sorted out, though. We'll have 3 extra minutes. Michael Yanotta giving away that free kick right there. Interesting story, Yanotta. He went to Polish. He went to Holland as a young man. 16-year-old signed with Feyenoord. Went over to Go Ahead Eagles, one of the flamboyant named football clubs around the world. He's bounced around in Poland and Saudi Arabia before coming here to sign with the Mariners. Here he is on the ball. Zanuck. Patience here from the Mariners, just wary of perhaps overstretching themselves forward and getting beaten on the break on the cusp of half-time. They build up through width. Back to Stensness. Silva. Zanuck side-to-side stuff. Thought about going to Clisby instead. De Silva, Renya, to Simon. Build into something here, the Mariners. You can't quite win it back. It falls to Simon again. De Silva. A lot of bodies there at the top of the box. And the Knicks defend it well. Come away through McGarry. Tim Payne. Lewis again. Finds Payne. Can he bring it back? He does not quite keep it in. Or was it offside?
No, I think the ball's run out. Good move from Wellington to be picking up that ball, and they went quick. Trying to catch the Mariners out. The ball just slightly overhit. He was certainly on from Lewis, and he's got too much on it.
And just another quick thing for the Mariners at half-time. when they've got that possession like you saw before, and they've got 4 players against one of the Wellington players, at least one of those players, if not 2, can actually push into midfield, because this is where the threat's going to come from Wellington. It's going to come from midfield. They haven't got players on the park. They're going to run in behind. The threat's going to come into midfield. So they don't need too many spare players at the back.
Running out of time here, the Mariners. They've got about 15 seconds to manufacture something before half-time. Just coming up with myself and Bozza. Minotta out to Clisby. And that's a half, an eventful one here in Wollongong. Matt Simon was at the centre of most of the drama. Firstly, he was involved in the challenge, which ended David Bull's afternoon, sent off. And I could see Strebray Delovsky, the referee's boss, going over to Vitale to let him know what's going on with the exact nature of the send-off. And then Matt Simon scored the goal, which has the two sides separated at halftime by that one goal. It's Wellington Phoenix down to 10 men, 0. Central Coast Mariners 1. And let's get down to Mark Bosnich.
Thank you very much, Adam. Gianni, 1-0 up, down against 10 men. What was the initial reaction from you guys when the player was sent off, in terms of, was it a little bit overexcitement, you think, or you're like, okay, this is how we're going to adjust ourselves?
No, definitely. I don't think we got overexcited. I think we,
Xin chào tất cả anh em, hôm nay thì mình sẽ hướng dẫn cho tất cả anh em cách để có thể nâng cấp tài khoản bình thường của anh em lên thành tài khoản VIP tại website mitomtv.com. Đầu tiên thì chúng ta sẽ gõ tên mitomtv.com. Ngay lập tức thì chúng ta sẽ truy cập vào web mitomtv.com để có thể theo dõi bóng đá trực tiếp. Tất cả các trận đấu của tất cả các giải đấu luôn luôn được tất cả bọn mình livestream phát sóng trực tiếp. Anh em đang thấy khi mà tôi chưa đăng nhập và chưa nâng cấp lên thành tài khoản VIP thì anh em sẽ thấy có rất nhiều khung hình quảng cáo đang được hiển thị ở đây. Nó sẽ làm cho anh em theo dõi bóng đá khó hơn và cảm thấy khó chịu hơn. Và với những anh em nào dùng mạng 4G thì việc anh em sẽ phải loát một loạt những khung hình quảng cáo ở đây nó sẽ khiến cho anh em tốn rất nhiều dung lượng. Và bây giờ thì để làm mất đi tất cả các khung hình quảng cáo cũng như để xem bóng đá với trải nghiệm tốt hơn, mượt mà hơn, thì anh em sẽ phải tìm đến ô đăng nhập ở phía bên trên màn hình. Anh em click vào ô đăng nhập, mình đang di con trỏ chuột ở đây. Chúng ta tiến hành đăng nhập, sau đó chọn đăng nhập bằng Facebook. Lập tức nó sẽ tự link sang Facebook của anh em. Anh em thấy là do tài khoản của mình đã là tài khoản VIP rồi nên khi mình đăng nhập xong thì nó sẽ mất hết khung hình quảng cáo. Còn với những anh em nào chưa nâng cấp lên thành tài khoản VIP thì anh em có đăng nhập vào thì vẫn sẽ có các khung hình quảng cáo ở đây. Và để anh em nâng cấp lên thành tài khoản VIP thì anh em sẽ chọn đến avatar của anh em ở góc bên tay phải. Mọi người nhấn vào avatar, sau đó sẽ thấy xuất hiện một ô nâng cấp tài khoản. Anh em bấm vào ô nâng cấp tài khoản. Sau khi bấm vào ô nâng cấp tài khoản này thì anh em mua thẻ điện thoại về và chúng ta sẽ nạp vào. Có 3 loại thẻ của 3 nhà mạng để anh em có thể mua và nạp, đó là Mobifone, Vinaphone và Viettel. Anh em mua thẻ với mệnh giá bao nhiêu thì chúng ta sẽ chọn mệnh giá ở đây. Chẳng hạn như 200.000, sau đó anh em bấm vào số series, mã số thẻ và sẽ bấm vào ô thanh toán. Sau khi mọi người thanh toán thành công thì anh em sẽ bấm vào ô lịch sử giao dịch để chúng ta thấy được giao dịch của chúng ta. Như mình đã giao dịch một thẻ điện thoại 200.000 vào ngày 31 tháng 1 thì nó sẽ có lịch sử rõ ràng ở đây. Khi mọi người nạp thẻ thành công thì anh em sẽ có số coin ở đây tương ứng với số tiền mà anh em nạp vào. Chẳng hạn như mình nạp 200.000 thì anh em sẽ có được 200.000 coin. Sau khi có coin ở đây thì mọi người click vào ô đóng phí thành viên và chúng ta tiến hành mua gói. Sẽ có 3 gói để cho anh em mua, đó là gói 30 ngày với 100.000, gói 90 ngày với 200.000 và gói 150 ngày với 300.000. Anh em sẽ chọn mua gói tương ứng với số tiền mà chúng ta nạp vào. Và sau khi mua gói thành công thì anh em quay lại web mitomtv.com và chúng ta tiến hành loát lại web thì lập tức tất cả các quảng cáo sẽ mất hết và chúng ta sẽ được theo dõi bóng đá với chất lượng tốt hơn, không bị ảnh hưởng bởi bất kỳ khung quảng cáo nào. Đặc biệt với những anh em nào theo dõi bằng mạng 4G, khi mà anh em không phải loát một khung hình quảng cáo nào thì dữ liệu mạng, dung lượng mạng của anh em nó sẽ chỉ tốn bằng 1/3 so với việc anh em theo dõi bằng tài khoản bình thường thôi. Mình vừa hướng dẫn cho anh em cách để chúng ta có thể đăng nhập cũng như nâng cấp lên thành tài khoản VIP, anh em nhớ làm theo hướng dẫn mà mình vừa mới làm xong. Và anh em hãy lưu ý là chúng ta sẽ phải lưu lại web mitom.link. Do hiện nay các nhà mạng đang chặn tương đối gắt gao và tương đối nhiều, thì chúng ta sẽ lưu lại web mitom.link. Từ web này thì anh em sẽ có nhiều web khác nhau để anh em lựa chọn theo dõi. Và mới chỉ web mitom.tv này, mitomtv.com là anh em có thể nâng cấp được lên thành tài khoản VIP thôi. Nên là anh em nào muốn nâng cấp lên thành tài khoản VIP thì chúng ta sẽ chọn hình mitom.tv đây. Và rất mong khi anh em vào web mitom.link này thì chúng ta hãy bấm vào ô chia sẻ để chia sẻ đi web mitom.link ủng hộ cho tất cả bọn mình. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ chọn một trận để vào xem, để cho anh em trải nghiệm tài khoản VIP theo dõi nó sẽ mượt như thế nào. Anh em thấy chúng ta không bị bất kỳ quảng cáo nào chèn trên hay chèn dưới. Khi đó thì sẽ rất là mượt. Và anh em có thể chat ở đây nó cũng rất thuận tiện và mượt mà. Một lần nữa chân thành cảm ơn tất cả anh em đã mua gói tài khoản VIP ủng hộ cho bọn mình. Và anh em nào chưa là thành viên VIP thì rất mong anh em hãy mua gói VIP để chúng ta được trải nghiệm xem bóng đá tốt hơn, và cũng là để ủng hộ cho bọn mình thực hiện nhiều những chương trình tốt hơn nữa. Chân thành cảm ơn anh em rất nhiều.
In commentary, you look at it straight away in the split second, and sometimes you can tell. You go, oh, or maybe that was that's a definite red card. What about you?
Well, you heard me in commentary, and I was right down the sideline, and my first instinct, and generally in a lot of things, your first instinct is very close to the mark, was red, and after I watched it on replay, it was definitely a red card. No other decision. I said when you first come down to me, Adam, when you asked me about initial thoughts on the game, I said it was quite clear that they were targeting Matt Simon in terms of matching his aggression with their aggression as well. But I think that just, maybe got the better of ball in terms of the fact they've had it on their mind, because I saw the first ball that Luke De Vere went next to. I could see the determination on his face, and that's understandable because Matt Simon is the real heartbeat of that Central Coast Mariners side. But I think, and like Robbie said as well, striker's tackle, I think that's what it translated into. But it's straight red. Simple as that.
Not long after, Matt Simon was off and running and celebrating a goal with the people who were celebrating Valentine's Day in the corner of the pitch. This was lovely work, move from the Mariners, and
a fantastic pass from Morania. We talk about getting into those pockets. So those pockets is between the edge of the 6-yard box and the edge of the 18-yard box. This is such a dangerous position to be in, and it's so hard sometimes to play a ball that actually sort of is weighted in that type of way, but it was. And right before that, Robbie, yourself, and to be fair, Alan Stacic on the bench was sort of pleading with his side to close down a bit more, but I can understand what they're doing. That comes back to what we said at the start of the game about players when they're on the pitch, to sometimes, just say, look, okay, I know exactly what you're saying, Coach, but look, we're just going to conserve our energy here, because the bottom line is, as soon as ball goes off, Wellington haven't got a threat in behind, okay? And so we're just going to sort of just reassess here, conserve our energy, because there's a long time to play with 10 men. I mean, what was it, the 28th minute or something like that when he was sent off?
Yeah.
So, and I thought that they did well to do that, because then after that period, as soon as they got the ball, they were like springing away, because where were Wellington going with the ball? Nowhere really. And the most important thing, and we've said this when you're playing against 10 men, is to spread first. That's understandable. To recognise which player they're going to leave the opposition, so you can get your most creative player there or close to there, which have done very well, especially with Bazanic. And also to be patient. You don't want to win the game going to win the game in 5 minutes.
Danny De Silva, what have you noticed about his football, not only this afternoon, but when the Mariners have been playing well?
Superb player. One of the highlights of the Mariners play, I thought Wellington started the better of the two sides, but then the Mariners got into their little, you could say, passing mechanisms which they put out. And they've done this before. I've seen this. They've done it before when Nisbet was playing. And it's a very, very subtle thing, but every now and then they're swapping Danny De Silva over with Yonota. And what they're doing is then they're just building up, and then Danny De Silva seems to find that time and space, and that's very, very good coaching. To be fair to Alan Stacic and his coaching staff, that's very good coaching, because he is the best player in terms of football player, and you want to give him time and space, and when he gets it, he can do things. We've seen that before, there's no doubt about that. But very, very good team, and very good team to watch at the moment, Central Coast.
Just quickly, Wellington, so how do they get back into it? So Reno Piscopo, we'll point out him. I reckon he's probably only got 20 minutes left, because he's coming back from injury. I don't think he's going to play the whole 90.
Well,
he looks their most likely outlet.
Yeah, okay. So Wellington, what they're going to do is normally the most easiest thing to go is to go 4-4-1. Okay, There's no doubt about that. But what they're going to have to try to do is this: they're going to have to again recognise on the pitch exactly the type of numbers that Central Coast Mariners are having in the midfield. Okay, and they've got to match those numbers, in my opinion. They're going to have to be willing to go man for man at the back and match those numbers. And also, I'm looking at the bench there to see other players. There's Maratovic to come on as well.
Sutton and Wayne are young, creative players.
Yeah, I would like one of their players, and probably Piscopo is the best one suited to actually to stay up front, because he's the best suited to actually to still go in behind. They're going to have to need somebody to go in behind, chase everything down, and the biggest thing for them as well, and they've got to really, this is what they've got to really concentrate on. They're going to get some opportunities, especially from set plays. And the delivery, they're going to have to take the time on and get that absolutely perfect. That could be a way that they could go and score. And then when they score, that pendulum from a psychological point of view is going to swing right in their favour. And Central Coast are going to go, what's going on here? We're playing against 10 men and they're 1-1.
Second game coming up on Valentine's Day is right after this one. So full time here, straight to kick-off at Redcliffe with Brisbane taking on Newcastle Jets. So Brisbane fell midweek. Pretty good performance still, though, against MacArthur FC, who at the moment are absolutely flying. Dylan Wenzel-Halls, can he get the Golden Boot standing lead to himself? As for Newcastle, now that Craig Deans has been locked in, does that change the dynamic for the Jets, and what can they produce on a trip north to Brisbane on what will probably be a warm afternoon in southeast Queensland? We're looking forward to that one, and looking forward to seeing this young man off the bench again for the Mariners. Speaking of Golden Boots, he's leading it as well. Alu Kuol, when does he come on? Does he help the Mariners go for their 6th win in 8 games, or do Wellington somehow pull something out of the fire with 10 men here? Find out after the break, live on Fox Sports.
Treat yourself at McCafe and we could treat you to free coffee for a year. Just buy any coffee on the My Macca's app and you could be one of 25 winners every day. Order on the My Macca's app for your chance to win.
Window fully pinataed, Keith. Some insurers don't fix it excess free, which could affect next year's party budget.
That's not a pinata, Dad.
But luckily, Amy has an option that does, and that's what I call a pinata. Does your home insurer offer optional excess free glass cover? Amy does.
Alright, let's see what it's got. Comfort, bucket loads. Now for some punishment. It's tough, really tough. But smart. Capable, you could say that. Just one more thing. Your turn. Brand new Mazda BT50, the complete package.
When I get up, it's a beautiful morning. When I get up, it's a beautiful day. When I get up, it's a beautiful morning, shining bright for you and me.
New James Squire Broken Shackles Refreshing Lager.
Order the new Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G from Telstra, and you'll get up to $600 bill credit over 12 months when you add it to an XL plan. Ask us how today.
Hey, shout out to Legend Samo. Catch this, cuz.
Share a Coke and a shout out with all your mates this summer.
Summer is my favourite time of year. It is a great time to relax with family and friends in summer. You have the nice warm nights where you can just sit out and just shoot the breeze. To set up a perfect entertaining area this summer, all you really need is a table and chairs, a barbecue and a nice umbrella. For me, just sitting around with my family, just relaxing and enjoying a good meal from the barbecue. I reckon they're the moments you'll remember all year long. At our place, that's how we summer.
distracting new deal every week in February. This week, get 20% off any order over $10. Order today only on the My Macca's app.
Where is he? Where's my ball? He's in my feeling.
The new season of Gogglebox Australia begins Wednesday 7:30. First on Lifestyle and watch on demand.
She's on now. That's off the scale.
Well, that doesn't fire you up. Nothing will. So it's all to play for. A volatile Valentine's here at the Wynn Stadium. That one, Matt Simon copped a tackle from David Ball, and unfortunately David Ball, from his point of view and Wellington Phoenix point of view, that ended his afternoon. So a change coming for the Mariners here at half-time. They're in control of the contest, playing against 10 men, 1-0 up thanks to Matt Simon's first half goal. Josh Nisbet is about to make his entrance. Looks like Margaret Yanotta is the man that has made way. His confirmation. And the stage is making that half-time change. And Nisbet, the most diminutive, literally diminutive player in the A-League. He's been a bit of a revelation to start the season, and he's back from a little complaint coming off the bench this afternoon. Futale joining us right now. Wolfie, okay, so what's happened has happened. How do you adjust? How do you get the most out of your movements forward in this half with 10 men?
Yeah, we're going to have to put a little bit more pressure on the ball, because if they keep the ball at the back, they can have it all day, but we need to put a little bit more pressure on the ball. We need to leave the furthest guy free, because at times we need to man up to win that ball back, and I still think we created some good opportunities with 10 men as well.
Is Reno, who's looked really good, is he good for 90 minutes, or are you going to have to make us up there as well?
Well, he'll push himself as hard as he can, and we'll see how he goes.
Thanks, Wolfie. Cheers.
Cheers.
Futale there, good enough to join us. Saw him in discussions with Stredray Delovsky. It's half-time, and Stredray Delovsky, the boss of the referees, was showing him the replay of that incident with David Ball. I don't think anyone who has seen it since has had any complaints about the decision that Daniel Elder quickly made in that instance. Anyway, we're going now in the second half, and this adjustment made by the Mariners. Nisbet, much like for Yanotta. Nisbet's been very good so far this season when we've seen him, Robbie.
Yeah, and he's got lots of energy and a lot of quality as well on the ball. Very hard to get the ball off him when it goes into his feet. And they're going to pose problems, those two, De Silva and Nisbet, in behind the strikers. And of course, you'd expect Quoll to make an entrance at any point.
Clisby herring after that one down the left-hand side, does really well. Hudson Wahongi, who's the replacement at the back for the Knicks, heads away. Goes over Nisbet. Stenson is charging across and gets in the way of McGarry. Interesting little first press there from Wellington. You wonder how much the game is going to open up, Robbie, if Futale is to believe that they want them to give the Mariners, or narrow their time down on the ball, which is hard to do with 10 men. They're just not going to sit off and park it. It sounds like they're going to go after the game.
I don't think that's the best option, because Mariners are in the driver's seat now. 10 men, Wellington, they've got the goal. Wellington will have to press, but they're going to have to pick their moments.
Clisby. Now to Stensness. There's Nisbet on the other side of Piscopo. He can have a shot as well. Oh, what an entrance that would have been for Josh Nisbet. Rattles the woodwork with a rasping left foot shot.
Makes that space. Once he gets forward and you allow him to turn and backing off, it's a super strike. And he's desperately unlucky. Crashes against the post and away to safety, luckily for Wellington.
Never scored a goal in the A-League. He will soon if he continues that type of contact. Devere nods away. McGarry has Nisbet for close company. Go the other side here, will they? Zanuck, Stensness, rolls. Zanuck with all the time in the world to look up, figure out what to do. He sends it over to the right-hand side. One-on-one battle with McGarry. Rufer doesn't have that much time. Luckily for Nix, it fell to Devere, who skews that. Silver goes down. Zanuck continued to run forward. It's flicking around. Daniel Elder all over it and pointed straight to the spot as soon as he saw the contact on Danny De Silva.
Yeah, just gets a leg out. That's a Wyongi, and it was a real pinball. It's just chaos in the penalty box there. He gets there first, sticks the leg out, and you can't have any arguments with that. It's clear contact. De Silva gets there first. That's a penalty, 100%.
So Ollie Bozanic, who scored his first goal in the A-League 10 years ago in a semi-final epic against Brisbane Roar at Suncorp Stadium. All these years later, this will be another one a decade on with the Mariners flying. Ollie Bozanic finds the top corner with a well-taken penalty. 2-0 Mariners.
That's unstoppable, that. Even though Marinovic goes the right way, it's high, almost into the roof of the net. This is the action. Clear penalty, and they just couldn't clear the danger from the penalty box. That is unstoppable. From Bozanic, keeps his nerve, picks his spot, puts it high to take out any outstretched arm from Marinovic. So the perfect penalty. And we said they were in the box seat. Well, now even more so. 2-0 up against the 10 men.
And there's the 11th.
It looks like it's going to be a long second half for Wellington.
Just about to make a change. Mirza Muratovic being readied for Wellington Phoenix. And cover up the kickoff. Interesting that Bozanic, and that's his first goal in the A-League since 2016 when he was playing for Melbourne Victory, but he took the penalty and not Matt Simon. In fact, that was his first ever penalty that he's taken in the A-League, so he's obviously feeling pretty confident about his football. Here he is again, launching another raid forward. Urenia can run at players. Marcos Urenia over to Simon first time, and Marinovic does well. Kind of delayed the ball to him. Didn't quite get it cleanly, Simon.
No, but it was the right thing to do. He had to take it first time, and he's technically got it right, just not enough power. Sort of had to dig it out in the end because the ball wasn't square, but it was to let it go across his body.
Avila. A little movement off the ball from Wellington. Here's some now through Tim Payne down the right-hand side. Denton and Rufer, two puny-tailed defensive midfielders for Wellington. That comes to nothing. Here's
Urania picks him out, and see it really has to dig that out, and just didn't get the power on it, but had to take it. Didn't have a time for a touch, and Matt Simon playing so well.
He's got company at the moment. Bozanic, switch ball over to Negro, right in his path as well. One touch, cross, didn't quite get the cross right. Down to Mark Bosnich. Bozza, exactly what Ofitele didn't want in the opening 10 minutes. So how do they readjust here with Muratovic about to come on?
Well, exactly what I said at half-time in terms of from their perspective. They've got to be willing to go man for man at the back and in the middle, and to make sure Ulysses De Vere he has got to make sure that Bozanic, which is Central Coast is doing exactly what I said, what a 11-man need to do, but he needs to close down Bozanic. Give the ball to Tonyik or Rolls or Clisby. Have them be the ones to be the playmakers. De Veer's got to make sure that happens. And like I said, at this moment in time, they've got too many free players, the Mariners. So that means even though we're 10 men, at Wellington they've got too many free players. If you have a look when they start building up the Mariners, there's a few players there in Wellington midfield needs to push on. It's not a problem to go man for man at the back here. And when they do go to close, and Robbie made the point right at the beginning, there can't be no token gesture close. You've got to pick your times. Better to stay in formation and pick your times than just to go out one out, just like they did before the penalty was awarded, and then you're going to get picked off elsewhere.
Mark Bosnich sideline for us this afternoon on Fox Sports. De Silva. Josh Nisbet gets it back from Stefan Negro. A couple of weeks ago, Tale set his side after an indifferent start to the season, results-wise, have to kind of rise from the ashes before they take on Central Coast Mariners in this kind of mood. Will be exactly that, and then some. Nearly there. Nearly got on the other side of Tonyik.
Yeah, it was the wrong selection of passing. Had Lewis bursting through the inside right channel, completely unmarked there.
That was the ball?
That was the ball. And when they get opportunities like that, you have to make the most of them if they're to get back into this game.
Jack Clisby telling De Silva to just play it first time. You can see what De Silva was trying to do right there, especially in the ultra confident mood that he's in at the moment. Ball's gone out. Stefan Negro looking to find the feet of Matt Simon. Come back again. Urania.
See here now, sorry Adam, with De Veer. Leave Tonyik and Rolls with it. That's the man Bozanic or Stensnes he's got to be making sure that the ball doesn't go to.
Negro. It's the ball that Alan Stajic wanted before. Rania tries to keep it in around Hudson Rahongi, who doesn't make the same mistake twice. It's out for a goal kick. So they win today, Robbie, the Central Coast Mariners. They'll be on 18 points, which is exactly their season total of last season. The season before, 13 points. Just illustrates how things have turned around so remarkably.
How far they've come. And it's a team playing with absolute confidence in what they're doing. They're well organised, and not only that, when they go forward, their passing is first class.
Zanuck releasing De Silva. He's got De Veer for company. De Silva saw a pass that few could see right there to Nisbet. Continued a lung-bursting forward run. So it's going to be a double change for Wellington Phoenix in the not-too-distant future. Louis Fenton as well as Maratovic coming on. Maratovic a striker, stroke attacking midfielder. Fenton right-sided, probably right back, or can play a little further forward, but also that Tim Payne, who hasn't been in great comfort all afternoon, certainly in not the comfort that the people are in the northeast corner, in their Valentine's cushions. Tonyik puts the bomb up. Rugby league play, just send it downtown. Here's Bozanic and Grow. Nisbet. It's a good ball. To Stensnes, and they switch it within two passes to the opposite flank. Here's Stensnes again. Another crack if he wants. Nisbet finds De Silva. Little 1-2 with Urania. Oh, what a touch from Daniel De Silva to bring it down. That would have been some goal. Bozanic wriggles clear. Simon, outside of the foot, scuffed it, corner.
Yeah, it goes with the outside of the boot. And just needed the inside, really. The whole of the opposite side of the goal was open. Wonderful play. I was saying in the first half about how you've got to get wide and get width. Well, they're going right through the middle all the time with these smaller technical players. And the outside of the boot, legs, saved by the legs of Marinovic.
Clisby looping around and kicking it a little too hard, putting it technically. So this double substitution coming now for Wellington Phoenix. And it is Piscopo coming off. Not too much of him in the second half, to be fair. He hasn't, it's not his fault. It is Tim Payne, the right back. So Fenton to right back and Muratovic up front. Big test for Wellington in the coming weeks to turn this around without key players. They want Cameron Devlin back as quickly as possible. They want Tomo Hamed back as quickly as possible. Josh Sotirio's a few weeks off. Davila just jumped straight into his stenseness there. Hudson Mahongi does well despite the close attention of Urania. Here's trying to cushion a little pass inside. They'll come back out. Now in. This has been about the time that Alo Quol has been introduced for the Mariners. They say that he's going to make some appearance. Is this there? Not warming up at the moment. None of the Mariners are at the moment on the bench. Bozanic. De Silva dropping a little deeper. Nisbet bursting forward through the middle. De Silva ignores him, goes out to Negro, who chips across too far as well. So, Roger, it feels like up here that Mariners are just in, not cruise control, but total control of whatever is happening out there. Do you get that feeling down there, or a bit different?
Yeah, at this moment in time, yes. But Wellington have done better the last 5 or so minutes in doing what I was talking about before, about leaving certain players with the ball and closing the other ones down. Muratovic and Fenton coming on has helped that. They're going man for man in the centre of defence at the back, but the two fullbacks sometimes are free, so one of them needs to push onto midfield just to help them. So they just need to keep doing what they're doing now and try their best, Wellington, to keep it at 2-0. Because at 2-0, anything can happen, and they will have opportunities. They've got to believe that. But the most important thing, like I said, for them right now, because for a while they look like we're going to run up a cricket score, Central Coast Mariners, is not to concede again. Simple as that. At least for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so.
Nisbet. It's a fantastic story, Josh Nisbet. Imagine how many times it's come up in initial conversation with someone that he meets. He goes, "How tall are you?" But the way he's got himself going as a professional footballer, that one sent long to Birighitti. There's the wind, and Nisbet's the first one to react and nearly cushions down a beautiful little ball to Orenia. Yeah, but Nisbet is from Queensland, came down. Mariners gave him a go in the academy. He's working in Woolworths on the central coast of New South Wales to supplement his income while he's on a low-paying deal as a youth player with the Mariners, as Tony goes through the back of Davila, and that is a foul. But yeah, he got going. Then Alan Stajic obviously saw something that he liked and upgraded the contracts to eventually get to a point where he doesn't need the Woolworths gig anymore, Robbie. Which is good for his football, because those hours can be a bit indifferent.
Yes, definitely. And obviously, he's got a great self-belief, but he's found in stages someone that also has.
Here's a chance for Muratovic, who scored at this end against Sydney FC. Rolls on his back. Villa, almost a shot on target there for Wellington, and Villa's given away a foul. All of a sudden, a chance there. Sorry.
Well, it's like a half chance because the Mariners get a lot of bodies in there, but Wellington pushed and nearly created themselves an opportunity.
And that's exactly what I was on about, Adam. You know, Wellington kept a bit of possession, got a free kick, took their time, and then got themselves into a good field position and created, like you said, you could say half a chance. But that's exactly what they're going to have to do for the rest of the game.
Nice little moments there for Wellington, so perhaps getting football back in the game. Haven't been able to get the combinations going. It's so disjointed so far, Robbie, in this second half with the ball, with good reason. De Vere, a loose one. Oh, he's got it. Gary. Clayton Lewis. Aaron is happy to sit off a little here, occupy the middle of the pitch. Gary into Davila, who's fouled again by Tonic. Third foul from Tonic. Statsman, Brendan Costa, all over it. Hudson Mohongi. Nisbet breaking up play again for the Mariners, and he sees space over where Danny De Silva is. Fantastic ball from Nisbet back to Arena, who's got options and time. Zanik, does he go for another one? He goes for top corner, and Marinovic was interested for a short while.
Super ball out to De Silva. Absolutely brilliant as Wellington were trying to force, and that's what's going to happen if they do, which they have to. They have to go forward. It was almost a little bit slow for the Mariners. Ends up with Zanik having a shot, looking for that top corner. Marinovic had it covered.
On the cusp of the Mariners of their 6th win in 8 to start this A-League season. We knew it was going to be a different season. But that was on the outer edge of possibilities going in.
That's a good ball. Now they've got to do it.
Batting with Nisbet, who does so well off balance and keeps it in. I don't know if that ball was out. Stajic and Talley having a little bit of a conversation. No, Talley's having a conversation with his left back, McGarry. Don't know about that one. All of the ball. Now Luke De Vere's down. This is a problem. Jake, who we saw the other night playing in that Brisbane MacArthur game. I think they got defensive cover. Luke De Vere has been so good since going to Wellington. After that second spell that he had in Brisbane, you thought that was it for him as an A-League footballer. Got his body right and formed a great partnership with Stephen Taylor last season. Here are the goals so far, 2-0 scoreline, Robbie.
Urania with a super pass and a great finish from Matt Simon. Player full of confidence, as is so many of his teammates. Time to turn, times he's run perfectly. A really good finish across the keeper. There's a closer look at it. No need for a touch, so good was the pass. And it's the second one, penalty. Bit of a pinball in the penalty box. It'll come out. De Silva gets there, and Ohangi with the challenge, and it was a clear-cut penalty dispatched by Oliver Bozanic.
He did dispatch it quite nicely. Believe us. Top corner. Wellington, though, looking to hit back. Make it really interesting these last 20 minutes in terms of what Central Coast do. They go for a third or preserve what they've got.
Well, I don't think it's in the Mariners' makeup to sit back. And they'll sit back when they have to, and Wellington have good possession like this, but when they can get forward, they'll go forward.
Ball in there from Lewis into Muradovic, who had to go back, unfortunately, straight away.
Yeah, it's hard work for Wellington to just try and make a bit of space and try and create an opportunity.
Bodies everywhere all of a sudden. Gigro's down. Feeling great. Muradovic had nothing to do with it either, so Stefan Negro, I'm not sure what he's done here, if it's a strained hammy or some cramp all of a sudden, it looks like. So he's been surprisingly ever-present, Stefan Negro, so far this season for Central Coast, and Brenton Speed mentioned it in one of the earlier games for the Mariners, an incredible story where he had to get out of Victoria because he wanted an A-League gig somewhere, but he had to stay fit somehow. He was in lockdown, so he decided to go to Darwin and train up there. And all the way to Darwin without. Here's the Bozanic goal. Dispatched. First ever penalty he's taken in the A-League. I wonder why it's taken him so long. Ollie Bozanic.
And Adam and Robbie, just with McGinn coming on for De Vere, you know, they say when it rains it pours in terms of problems. That is Wellington's third substitute opportunity they have during the game over with. So they've got to hope that nothing goes on in terms of injuries for the next 20 minutes or so, because they're out of their subs.
Good point, Boz. A third window. Lewis Miller has been called back from the warm-up, right back for Stefan Negro, who is halfway through that story, but well, not really halfway. It was only a little bit to go. He went up to Darwin to get himself fit enough to try and get a contract, and then came back, went to the Central Coast on trial. Alan Stajic eventually said, yep. And here he is, part of this Mariners side. We're looking to make it 3. Nisbet, who was barrelled after giving it away, and gets a free kick. Orenia looking at the ref saying, oh, I didn't have advantage, perhaps. Mariners are pretty happy with the free kick in this situation.
Yeah, win the ball here from Davila, just overcrowding Davila, and he's away to Silva. Little back heel and Nisbet just a bit heavy on that touch there, and drew that late challenge, and very dangerous position here for the Mariners on the edge, slightly to the right-hand side of the Wellington goal.
A couple of options here. Ollie Bozanic whip that left foot, or does Matt Simon go back to the northern end here at Wynn Stadium and take the big run up, the Eddie Bosner run up, and go whack? De Silva as well in amongst it.
Well, they haven't decided yet. They should play paper, scissors, rock, maybe.
In your own time, gents. Which one of the three is it going to be? Matt Simon underneath the wall. Feet were in the way. Clisby back in. Muradovic, a beautiful touch there, and perhaps fouled by Clisby, not throwing. Way back to to Marinovic. Simon off the back of his head. Now that would have topped off the start of the season for the Mariners. Matt Simon scoring off the back of his head.
It's summing up a little bit Wellington's afternoon, isn't it? Nothing's gone right for them, and Marinovic sees this and doesn't execute. The ball is trying to chip this one out, and all he manages is to hit it flat. Miskicked it straight into the back of Matt Simon's head.
I think I know the answer to this question, but did it ever happen to you, Bozza?
No. However, I must say, there was one time when I tried the famous Cruyff trick at Upton Park against West Ham and slipped over, and Lee Chapman, who was then playing for West Ham, let's have a look at this action, got the ball and I was on the ground. He had an open goal and took his time too much, and somehow I jumped back and saved it. The manager at the time said he had my number ready to take me off had he had scored.
Bit of end-to-end stuff here. Mariners in control of the game, but they want to be careful with moments like that, inviting Wellington into the occasion, which at the moment they have a 2-0 advantage, a one-man advantage after the first half sending off of David Ball. And they're almost there with a four-point lead at the top. Live Ladder has them on 18 points ahead of MacArthur on 14.
Well, Bazanic's been absolutely superb this afternoon. Another example of that tight space, holding the ball. He really is the catalyst for a lot of the attacks. The balls into De Silva and Nisbet quite often come from him. He's offside, Urania.
He's run the show, hasn't he? Ollie Bazanik.
Yeah. He's been doing it since the first game of the season.
So here we go. Hello, Quoll, who has got the Mariners out of a few situations in the last few weeks. This time he comes on with the game within their grasp. Daniel Bowman as well, about to make an entrance. Exciting young Australian player on the Mariners books.
Well, we talk a lot about the young players, and we talk a lot about, obviously, Quoll's impact, and rightfully so, but I tell you, Bowman's been excellent for them when he's been called on upon this season.
3 assists.
Yeah, he set up that winner in that remarkable comeback against Western United.
Fratelli barking out to his side to get up, chase the game, see what they can get out of it.
And they're doing well here, Wellington. They're much better in terms of making sure they leave the people who want to have the ball with the ball, closing down, and they've not got too many numbers anywhere else on the pitch other than in midfield where it's going to be controlled. And they're staying in this game, because for a while there when it went 2-0, it looked like it was going to be 4, 5 or 6, but they're staying in the fight.
Just on the ropes though, the Knicks. And now the centre-back partnership is Hanson Mahongi and McGinn. And they started the game with Laws and De Vere, and they've been ever present. Those two so far this season, Laws and De Vere, well balanced left, right, but yeah, it's bad to worse in terms of injuries and suspensions for Wellington Phoenix. Just one of those periods that a lot of clubs go through throughout the course of the season. This is right here, right now, looking for wins, and they've only beaten the Central Coast Mariners this season. Orenia, his last action of the match is to kick the ball away to ensure that there's no quick free kick. There wouldn't have been anyway, because these substitutions are happening. So Matt Simon to make way for Daniel Bowman and Hello Quoll coming on for Marcos Orenia. So these two who combined up front, Robbie, it's a good little partnership, because Orenia, like the way he goes about his business. He stays out of the way of Danny Silva when he needs to, and out of the way of Matt Simon. And he's a clever player.
Yeah, he's had his best performance in the Mariners shirt, Urania. There's a few instructions, and players like Simon and Urania, it's so important for the young players, and you saw how positive he was, Urania, to Quoll and Bowman. And that's what I've talked about already, the big responsibility of senior players with all these young players bursting onto the scene. Their experience helps so much, and their attitude towards those younger players.
Can Quoll get the Golden Boot lead by himself? 5 goals so far this season. Actually, this is not so much the golden bird, it's the golden kickball with head. 4 of them have been headers. That's this full-on press from Wellington. Bowman. Daniel Bowman, he's Dutch-born, but spent a lot of time here in Australia. Here's Quoll, here's Nisbet. It's not quite 3-0. Best chance in a while for the Mariners.
Yeah, should have been it. Didn't look convinced, did he? As that ball comes across, he probably thought Quoll was going to jump onto it, but it fell beautifully him on the half volley, and that should have been 3.
Stensness wins a foul against his fellow Kiwi.
It was Bozanic with the pass through, but eventually fell to Nisbet.
Another one. De Silva. Gets the grain. All the pick out Nisbet. Quoll's waiting in the middle for Clisby's cross. Doesn't get past Hudson Wahongi.
Play. Danny, turn out. Danny. Chloe.
Bozanic. So much time.
Stensness has been excellent, as he always seems to be, in the middle of the midfield. A lot of his work allows a little bit of that freedom for Bozanic. Not much gets past him in that middle of the midfield. And that's what he's good at, plays it simple, doesn't overcomplicate his game.
Nisbet into De Silva. Options. Quoll, first touch. Sends it out to Clisby. Bowman. Almost went out. It's back to Rod Denton now, who boots it straight into his teammate. Nearly fell to Bowman. Here's De Silva over the top.
Hiệp đấu đã bắt đầu. Anh em hãy nhanh tay truy cập ngay fb88cup.com để đặt cược kèo chấp tài xỉu tỷ số cho trận đấu này. FB88, nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu hiện nay, nhà tài trợ cho câu lạc bộ Men 05. Nạp tiền rút tiền cực nhanh chỉ trong 5 phút. Khuyến mãi đến 2 triệu đồng cho thành viên mới, hỗ trợ cho tất cả thành viên 24/7, kể cả ngày nghỉ và lễ Tết. Hãy truy cập ngay vào link ở thanh chat để được hưởng toàn bộ những sự ưu đãi từ FB88.
Great quick feed. Like he was half a chance there. Radovic stopped it with his right, took it away with the outside of the left.
Over 10 minutes for Wellington to somehow get something out of this one. It's hard to see how at the moment. The second half they've had one shot into the Mariners' 8. 61% possession for the Mariners, which you'd expect. Team playing 11v10.
No, but what that tells you is Wellington looking tired, and it's no wonder.
Bowman. Quoll just on the other side there of the well-positioned Liam McGing. Out to Clisby. Quoll's on the move in the box. It's a characteristic pass there from Clisby, who's been excellent so far this season down that left side. Lovely touch from Davila, who gets around, rolls, who comes again. Can't quite get it. Maradovic is on here, so possibly a second shot of the half. Maradovic!
He had the option to square it. Leighton Lewis was unmarked. He's getting the offside now, has he? So it wouldn't have counted.
Entirely sure about that.
Well, it would have gone at least to the VAR. Terrific from Davila. Finds something. That angle, he looks onside, doesn't it?
Yeah, Negro looked like he was...
But look at Lewis here. And maybe difficult, two defenders to find him from that position, but it was a big chance for them.
Lewis Miller is coming on, and this is North. And straight after this one, we'll be there. Late stages of warm-up for Newcastle Jets away to Brisbane Roar. Brisbane, a couple of changes. They've brought in Jesse Daly into the middle of the park. Ramat Akbari is starting from the bench. Good one on the way on Valentine's Day from Redcliffe. Stefan Negro, time back here, is done for the afternoon. And Lewis Miller, the like-for-like at right back. For the Mariners, it's an early header. McGarry. Lewis. And Lewis Miller, surely the quickest yellow card of the season for anyone. Inside a minute into the book for the shirt tug on Muratovic.
Quite often see that substitutes getting a yellow card very early because they haven't found the rhythm of the game.
Approximately 10 minutes to go now. Wellington have done really well to stay in this fight, but it's gamble time now for them. Risk losing 3 or 4 then rather than just sit back and have a go like this and go for that goal, which will put real pressure then on the Mariners.
Cops a bump from Fenton. And if you're just tuning in, by the way, Rolls has copped a knock and he's crawled back onto the field to stay down. So he knew he was injured, and then he did the bear crawl back on to make sure that the physio could come over. I think Daniel Elder was saying, get off or get up. There it is. You do those in the gym, don't you, Robbie? Sets of 20.
Yeah, he was trying to be clever. He certainly took a whack.
Really impressive Kai Rolls this season, and it's good to see him in a winning side after all the trials and tribulations of the last few years as a young defender. I don't know how that would have been for him. Mentally, young kid finding his feet at a professional level and getting smashed.
Yeah, look, it would have been a tough time, but I'll tell you what it did do. It toughened him up. And what he got, even though he was losing, he was playing games. And he's improved so much.
Oh. Lewis Miller into the pool. He did cop a shove. I'm not accusing him of diving. I'm just saying that that's how you dive into the pool sometimes. How ambitious do they get here, the Mariners, in chasing a third? It's all in their control at the moment, about to go to 18 points. De Silva's been excellent again this afternoon. He sets Clisby on his way. Bowman around the back. Early cross, Robbie, can be so dangerous, and that was one of those occasions.
And he gets a corner, and I'll tell you what, he's done well there because you didn't think a strike was on. Ball goes right across, goes behind McGarry, and he somehow swivels onto that and gets something on it, and it takes a slight deflection off McGarry, and they get a corner. Rolls comes forward. Stensness in there as well. Clisby hit a good corner.
He's been excellent from set pieces this season, Clisby. Finds, I think it was McGarry post. Villa trying to dribble around everyone and dribble out of trouble. Eventually out to Rydenton, advantage play. Again, a ball around the back. Fenton can't get past Rolls. That was a good tackle. A very good tackle from the Queenslander. Centrally to Stensness, Tonyek. Nisbet trying to flick it on to Miller, but wins the foul. Luke Wilkshire, local. Involved in Wollongong football. Successful time of it at the Wolves as well. Play some great stuff. We have done in previous years. Mariners fans loving this, who have made the 3-hour journey down from the Central Coast to Wollongong, singing "We Are Top of the League."
Yeah. Why not? They've got to enjoy this. They've been at the bottom for long enough. That's what I said to Alan Stagich at the start. You've got to enjoy this moment. Of course, you've got to keep a lid on it. Just on as that ball goes all the way back to Rolls, Luke Wilkshire. It's great to see ex-Socceroo, plenty of Socceroo games. Fantastic career from him. Obviously finished with Sydney FC successfully as well, and it's great to see him putting back into the game.
Miller, oh, lovely move from Bowman. Undip, Hudson Wahongi. Options here in the centre. Bowman crosses it. Oh, De Silva took a touch. Call! Just wide. Can't believe he doesn't have his sixth.
Well, Mariners should have had a third. Somehow butchered that one. Terrific work from Bowman. And we talk a lot about the other players, but this guy makes an impact every time he comes on. There he doesn't cross it because that ball was cut out. And back just a heavy touch and it falls to Cole. He's got bodies in front of him. It wasn't an easy chance, but he sort of snatched that, didn't he? And screws it wide across and it flashes across past that far post.
He roofs that. Marinovic has no hope no matter what direction he sent it in, but Marinovic doesn't know that a substitution is being made. Danny De Silva, excellent performance from Danny De Silva. On comes Jaden Casella, who has made an impression when he's been in the park for the Mariners so far this season. Scored the opening goal in the Mariners' opening goal, I should say. They came back from 2-0 down against Melbourne City. And that's Simon's 200th game for the Mariners. Immediately, he's on the ball. It's Casella. Qual. Switch from the Mariners. Lewis Miller joining in with Nisbet. It's one thing Jaden Casella does, a real feature of his game. One of his midfielders are on the ball, runs forward to make the defenders make a decision. Nisbet. Bazanik looking for Qual at the back stick. Casella leaves it for Stensness. Avila, who's battled manfully out this one, is not the type of game that really brings out his best qualities in terms of threat in the final third. But Wellington, Robbie,
it's going to be a tough time for him because this game, obviously the whole complexion of this afternoon changed on the right decision. The send off to their striker, David Ball. They lost their two central defenders. It's just not gone to plan. It's hard enough to play the Mariners at the moment. The mood they're in with 11 players, let alone 10.
A couple of games coming up in short amount of time next week. They play Western Sydney next Sunday as the Mariners go forward here. Nisbet coming up fine Qual. And after that, it's to Melbourne, we assume, to play Melbourne Victory in the postponed fixture that was meant to take place this week. Fortunately for them, they don't have that in many respects because a bit more time to prepare for the next match and try and figure out what bodies are available. It's the injury toll mounting. DeVere and Laws leaving the field today. Devlin didn't play. Tom Hamed as well. So, bit to consider. Maratovic over the top. Didn't quite fall for him. Urigidi. As for the Mariners, it's just become a habit for them at the moment. It's the most wonderful thing in all of football. Winning is a habit.
Well, it is, and they're on a roll at the moment. They've got a great belief, and they've got players in super form. In fact, there's players that are playing exceptionally well off the bench that can't get into the team, such as the form of every single player.
6 from 8. Every side that's done that previously have made the finals. Cole goes into an offside position. He was telling Miller to hold off. Miller at that time finished the eye contact process and was looking down at the ball. Just down to Bozza quickly. This one turns over. Miller. Bozza,
yes, Adam.
How excited can Mariners fans be?
Very. No doubt about that. And you know what, I think Robbie and I said actually this 2 weeks ago, was like, and that was after what, I think 6 games. This is their 8th game. It's, you know, it's not just the 3 or 4 games at the start of the season. They are genuine contenders, in my opinion. And they have got a lot of good players. There's no doubt about that. But you've got to get the best out of them. And that's what Alan Stachich and his staff have done this season. You've got the best out of all of them, including the people that are in the squad that come off the bench who have done so well. And like I said, we're approaching, normally 10 games is the one, but we have a little bit of a shorter season to the one that I used to play in. So around about a third of the season gone, and they are 4 points clear at the top of the table. And playing like this, forget the fact, okay, today they had to go against 10 men, that wasn't their fault. But playing like this, they've shown why they're top of the table, regardless of they're playing against 10 or 11 men. So they should be not only very, very excited, but quietly confident. They're not going to go shout their mouth off, because it's not in their nature, those supporters. And you see Alan Stagers is setting the tone about being humble, but deep down, I'd be like that. Any team want to play against us, bring it on.
David! It's over there, please.
Well, if any set of fans in this competition deserve a bit of joy, it's certainly the Mariners fans. Aaron and John away from home here, and they're away for a couple of games more, aren't they?
Yeah, the pitch has been relayed actually up at Central Coast Stadium, so they don't play there until the first week of March. But this romantic fairy tale continues for the Central Coast Mariners. It's now 6 from 8, top of the league by 4 points. Another 3 here this afternoon in what turned out to be a comfortable win over Wellington Phoenix. Top of the league, the Mariners. Ollie Bozanic, outstanding. A penalty for him, another win for him. Wellington Phoenix 0, Central Coast 2 is how it finishes. We'll get some reaction shortly with Mark Bosnich. It's just on to the next one. It feels like it's the novel nature of winning games for the Mariners and wondering where it's all coming from. That's kind of in the revision mirror right now, and I think Mark Bosnich is just about to have a chat to a man who was heavily involved in a good sense and a not so great sense in that first half. Matt Simon, Bozza, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adam. I've got Matty Simon down here with me. I've got some of his teammates trying to get me to ask some questions that we probably couldn't do at this time of day. But congratulations, Matty. Fantastic performance by the team and a wonderful goal by yourself as well. And what a pass, as he just reminded me, to ask you by your strike partner, Marcos Orenia.
Look, Bozza, obviously you can see Marco's quality out on the pitch, and that pass is just another showing from him of how good he is, and he's only going to get better. You know, I think he's still got a little bit to go to get 100% fit, but I think he's shown his qualities so far, and you know, I think at the end of the day it's a great performance as a